Hello everyone. Uh, Hello everyone. Myself, Rahul Kumar Oja, and today I'm going to give a session on Ruby inheritance, basically. Okay, so that's about myself. So let's see the intro agenda of today's session. So we are going to cover the inheritance part, and we'll also see how Ruby inheritance hierarchy works, and what is the use of the singleton method, and how Ruby looks for your method inside the class. And in inheritance hierarchy, like method is defined in the multiple times in your class and then again in your parent class. So basically we'll see all these things. So let's get into detail one by one. Okay, so first we need to understand what is inheritance. So basically, class inheritance is a fundamental OOPS concept that helps you to create a more specific and specialized version of any class. Okay, so if you see a real-time example, what does inheritance means? Like if you see like parent-child example, so you have your parent and you inherit some of your properties of your parent because so some of properties of the parent got inherited in you. In the same fashion, we can design our code through real world entities. Like you can like create a specific version of your class. So we'll see the example and then discuss. Okay. So basically here you can see that so there is a class called mammal. So anyone can be mammal, like cat can be a mammal, or a cow can be mammal. So here what is like, so mammal can be a generalized version, but cat can be a specific and specialized version of that entity. So in Ruby, if you see this, this is how class is defined basically. So to inherit a class from another class, so you can use like this arrow operator to inherit the class. Regarding types of inheritance, I think Ruby has only one type of inheritance, that is like multi-level inheritance. Okay, so you cannot do multiple inheritance here. Okay, you cannot, but at the same time you cannot inherit two classes. So you can only inherit one class at a time. Okay. So this is basically syntax of a inheritance. So we'll go further and we'll see. So here, if you see that we have two classes in the same classes as the previous slide. So if you see this, you have a mammal class, and in the mammal class you have a method called brave. Again, you have a cat class, and in cat class you have a method called speak, and cat class is inherited from mammal class. Okay. Now, since cat is inherited from the mammal class, you the methods of the mammal class, the instance methods of the mammal class will be default by default, or will be available to cat class by free basically. So though we didn't specify how a cat should break, every cat will inherit that behavior from the mammal class, since cat was defined as a subclass of mammal. Okay. So now if you do create an object of cat like Tama equal to cat new, so this is how you create an object in Ruby. And if you see Tama.break, so you will see this method is accessible from an object of the cat class. Like if you see it has printed inhale and exhale. Okay. Similarly, if I do Tama.speak, you can see that this is also accessible and your output is meow. Okay. So this is how the method is being so this is how the parent class method gets inherited in subclass method in subclass. Okay. So there can be like certain situations where you think that like a super class, certain properties of a super class is not applicable to subclass. Like all the birds can fly, okay, but penguin is also bird, but penguin can't fly. Okay, so there can be here two types of designs we can basically follow. Either we define all the properties like so say all the like uncommon properties in all the classes, or define all properties in the parent class, and then just remove those properties from that specific class. Like all the birds can fly, but few birds cannot fly. So what we can do, so we can still inherit them from the bird class. Penguin can still be inherited from the bird class. Penguin will access methods like preen, okay. But what we can do in case of fly, since fly is not applicable to penguin, we can just fail this method. So basically, if you see this, they fly, fail, sorry, I would rather swim, right? So what we can conclude here, rather than exhaustively define every characteristic of every new class, we need only to append or to redefine the differences between each subclass and its superclass. So what we are doing here, we are just redefining the differences. So in bird class, we have defined two methods, preen and fly. Since fly is not applicable to penguin, so we are basically redefining it. Okay. So basically, this type of situation will come when like when a subclass like cannot inherit a particular method of a superclass. Okay. So it is also called differential programming. Okay, so it is basically one of the benefits of object-oriented programming. So how can we redefine a superclass method? Superclass means the base class, basically. So here, if you see that human has like two methods, identify and train code. Okay, so we'll see how we can redefine the method. So like if I do human.new.identify, it will print I am a person. So what I am doing here, I am creating another subclass. So I have created a student class, student1 class, which is inheriting human class, and again I am redefining the identify method. So if I do student1.new.identify, so basically the latest method will be called. So it is saying I am a student. So how method lookup is being done, we'll discuss in a separate slide. So here you can see that how we can just redefine a method basically. Okay. So basically, we can also run a demo for this. So you can also see here how can we define. So this is basically IRB. So what I'm doing, class human. The method name is identify. Human. Okay, so if I do human dot new dot identify, it will print I am a human. So what if I declare another class, student, which is inheriting from human, and I'm going to just redefine this identify method. Student dot new identify. There is some problem, so there is double dot here. This should not be like that. So you can see that it is returning, it is basically printing I am a student too. So this is how you can just redefine or override your superclass method. Okay. So we'll come to the PPT and go next. So in some time, basically we will see that I don't need to redefine the entire method. I just have to enhance superclass method. Like I need some part of the code or some part of the statement from the super method, and I just want to enhance it. So it is also possible in Ruby. So suppose here I am printing student, and I just want to enhance it. So here, since student is also human, so what I want to do, I am human also and I am a student also. So I want both of the functionality. I also want the execution from the parent class of the same method from the parent class, and I also want to execute my method. So basically here I am in my code. Basically here I am enhancing superclass method. So we'll see how we can do this on the terminal. So like suppose we had the here we already created that human class. So like what I need to do, so suppose I'm creating another class, a student two. Okay, I'm inheriting from the human. Okay, and now I just want to redefine it. If identify, and I just want to enhance it. So again I want to print I am student two. So now if I will do student two dot new dot identify. So you can see that I am human and I am a student too. So both of the code is executed. So what is super basically? So super is basically a keyword. So what it does, it basically calls the same method from the parent class. So here your identify is the method from where super is being executed. So what it will look for if you if you write super here, so basically it will go to the parent class and it will basically call the same method from the parent class. So what it is doing here, it is calling parent class method identify. So that's why first it's executed the parent class method and then it's executed your rest part of the code. So you can see that. So basically, you are a human and as well as you are a student. Okay. So basically, you can also pass argument with the superclass. So suppose your superclass method or superclass method or your method accepts argument. So you can also pass argument to the superclass method. So we will see that. So class, suppose human. Okay. I have a class called human. I'm going to declare it. Suppose I have a method called age, and I'm going to get age in number. Okay. Age. Now I have a class called student. See, student 3, and I'm going to inherit it from human. Okay. So again, I will redefine this method age. Okay. Age in. Okay. Super in print. Okay. Want to do a slash in here so that it looks pretty. So if I pass to student c dot new dot age, I have to pass argument suppose 12. Okay. So what it will do? It will come at this point. It will first call the same method from the parent class with the argument we have just passed. Okay, and then it will execute this line. Like I am still young. Let's see what it doing. So you can see that. So my age, the number you have passed is 12, and this line. So I am still young. So this is how you can enhance the superclass method. I think it should be clear now. So we'll look for Ruby inheritance hierarchy. How Ruby inheritance hierarchy looks like. Okay, so suppose here we have a method called so we have a method called student three. We have a class called student three. So how Ruby inheritance looks like. So we have a method on the class called ancestors. Okay, if you do student three dot ancestor, you will see the inheritance hierarchy. So student three is at the latest. Student 3 is inherited from the human. Human is inherited from the object by default class from the Ruby. And this included this PG object mixing. And this has kernel and then basic object. So basically it starts from the basic object from the top down approach, basic, then kernel, then this and object, then human, and then this. Okay, so this is how Ruby inheritance basically looks like. So if you similarly in the cat example, if you do cat ancestors, so it will print basically ancestors chain of the cat. So cat is inherited from the mammal. Mammal is by default inherited from the object. Object has a module called PP object mixing, and then kernel, and then similarly basic object. Okay, so this is how the Ruby ancestors chain looks like. Okay. So basically, it is a basically representation of Ruby class hierarchy. So now we need to understand how ancestor chains follow the order. So for that, I have already created a program. So we'll look in that how it's follow the order. So suppose we have two modules, adaptable and a runnable module, and we have a class mammal, and we have also class cat. Now cat is inherited from mammal. So we'll see how Ruby inheritance looks like. So how it does. So in cat module model in the cat class, if you notice, I have included runnable and I have prepended adaptable. So we'll see how it gets reflected in the ancestors chain. Okay, so let me try the console. I will just improve require. Okay, so now my entire file Ruby classes of method lookup will be available in that this IRB terminal. So if I do cat dot ancestors. So if I do cat dot ancestors, if you see how it looks like. Earlier we does like human dot ancestors. Earlier does so you see that first the class on which we just fired the method ancestor method got first, then the parent class, and then the object. Now we called cat dot ancestors, but still cat is not at the first. So why and adaptable is inserted before cat in the ancestors chain. So how is it possible? Because as earlier said, so we need to see if you prepend any module in any class, it got inserted before that class in ancestor chain. Okay, so basically by using prepend, we have inserted adaptable before cat class in ancestors. That is why adaptable is we consider adaptable is inserted before that. Then the preference comes for the class. Then preference comes for the module in the same class, module included in the same class. Then prepend in parent class. Okay. This was not saved, I think. And this was not saved. Okay. So if you see it, so first, if you have any module prepended in your class, that will become first. Then your class, then any module included in your class, like runnable, then your any module prepended in your parent class, that will come before the parent class. Here we have not prepended anything, so direct memory is coming. Then again, any module included in parent class will come after mammal, and so on. So this is how it works. First prepend, then class, then module included, then again same thing happens for the parent class. Okay. So this is how ancestor sense works. Okay. So first calling class, included method before calling class, the prependent modules, included modules, parent class, then included modules in the parent class, and then etc. Okay. Now we'll see what is singleton method and what is the use of singleton method. Okay. So a method given only to a single object is called singleton method. So if you have given a method to a single object only, not to the entire class, then it is called a singleton method. So how it is possible? So suppose I have a method like I have a class like singleton test, and I'm just printing size. Okay. So let me create a class singleton. Okay, I'm just printing size. Okay. Print. Now I have a class test1 and test2. So how can we create singleton method? So suppose I have a test1 equal to singleton test dot new. Okay, I have two objects. I will create two objects. Okay, test2 equals to singleton test dot new. Okay, so suppose I want to add a method to test2, not to test1. Okay, so I want to add a method to test2, or I just want to redefine that method in test2. So what I need to do, define test2 dot size. Okay, print size in okay. So let me do test1 dot size. Test1 size, it is returning 25, means it's calling the method defined in the class. Okay, now let me do test2 dot size. Okay, that means it is calling method defined, singleton method defined for this specific test2 object. Okay, so basic use of singleton class using like some graphics programs where like each buttons have like some other features, or like their each button have like some other applications. In that kind of scenarios, singleton method is used. Okay, so basically, so the purpose of scaling singleton method here is to basically explain how method lookup is how method lookup happens in Ruby, basically in the inheritance hierarchy. Okay, So what I will do, I will just quit from here. Again, I will relog to ISP console. And what I will do, I will just do require related here. Okay, method lookup. So how it basically finds. So how method lookup is done in Ruby basically. So we have a we already have that class. So suppose if I do parent cat dot speak, how it will find that what is the location of that method? How Ruby will find that? So how the hierarchy comes? It first checks the ancestors chain. Okay, so we will see what is the ancestors chain. So suppose if I do, suppose let me create a object like cat equal to cat dot new. Okay. Now if I do a method like cat dot speak. Okay, cat dot speak. So it will say new. Okay. So how it finds the which method I should call. Okay. So what it does, first what it does, if you call on the cat class, it checks ancestor sense. Okay. So it will answer. It got adoptable first. So first it will check in adoptable module. So do we have a speak method in adoptable module? No. So then it will go to the cat. Do you have a speak method in cat? Yes. Then it will execute that method. Okay. If speak was not there in cat, it should have gone to runnable module. Do you have a speak method here? No. Again, if runnable module again it will go to the mammal class. Do you have a speak method here? No. Similarly, it will go to PP object mixing kernel and then basic object. Okay. But before adaptable, it checks one more thing. Like, what if the method is singleton method? So as here we created a method like test2.size and it printed 10 in case of test2. Okay, but this is not in any module. This method is not in any in any class. So basically, this is a singleton method. This is to define for this specific object. So first of all, it checks in singleton methods. Okay. So how it checks basically? So Ruby has a method. Like if you do size dot instance methods, so basically size is not defined. Okay. So this is old code. So let me wait. So let me do cat dot instance method. So we have a sorry. So this is available on cat dot instance. So how does this do basically? So suppose if I just do cat dot speak, so it will check cat. It will fire cat dot instance method. So basically this includes the inherited method as well. So if you pass an argument called false, so it will return the methods defined in the cat class. Instance methods defined in the cat class. So if you see, this will return speak. So you can see here only speak is defined in cat class. Okay. So it will check here. Do we have speak method in cat class? Yes, we have. Then it will execute from the cat class only. Again. So basically, it checks from the ancestor chain. So basically, first it will do cat dot ancestor, and we have an adaptable module. So if you do instance methods, so it will return adaptable and full preference. So we don't. So if you do cat dot speak, first we will check in adaptable module. So it will check like, do we have an instance method in adaptable module named as speak? So this way adaptable dot instance method dot first you can check. So no, this is not there. So speak is not there. Then it will go to cat. Okay, then it will check on cat dot instance speak is there. Yes, it is there. Then it will execute. Similarly for runnable. Similarly for runnable, it will check. So runnable also don't have this pick method. So the latest one, the method which found the location where it found first, that will be executed basically. So here you can see that. So if I do runnable dot instance method, it doesn't have speak method. Okay, so it basically returns the method defined inside that class. So basically, this is how Ruby checks. In basically, this is how method lookup is done in Ruby. Okay, so so the conclusion over here is, so method lookup is done based on the ancestors chain. So based on the chain, it goes bottom to top, and it searches for the method, and wherever it found first, it executes that method. Okay, so that's it about the method lookup. So here you can see that mammal. So you can see that. So you just do cat.new, cat.speak. Have you ever wondered how we find method location? We just saw in the demo. So how it finds the method location, and the thank you. So please ping me on the Hangout. Okay.